And welcome to the book of Ecclesiastes. Today, chapter 8, verses 7 and 8. If no one knows what will happen, who can tell him when it will happen? No man has authority to restrain the wind with the wind, or authority over the day of death. And there is no discharge in the time of war, and evil will not deliver those who practice it. So in 7 and 8 here, we're looking at authority. Who can tell what's going to happen? Do we know what's going to happen? Did I know yesterday it was going to snow today? Even though it was 70 degrees the other day? Well, I had a weather forecast, so I could kind of see on the phone, yeah, it looked like we can predict some change in the weather. And we had all this wind come through, and this big storm went across America, and some people got blown out there. So you can see things, you can predict them, but a lot of things when it comes down to the things of life, you don't know if your mother's going to have a stroke tomorrow, your father's going to have a stroke tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you'll be laid off tomorrow. We're trying to be wise and be on God's side. But if we try to control the world around us, that's can end in a problematic way. We do what we can, but we learn to trust Him and remember that He is in control. God is in control. He's the one that can tell us about things. And so let's look to His counsel in the Bible. Let's look to His counsel from some of our brothers and sisters and men and women of God. We can often find good counsel and good advice from people who've maybe been living the Christian life longer than we have. So sometimes they get it right more quickly than we will. Recognize here that nobody has authority over the world except God. And so if God is in control, then recognize that He's in control, right? And we can't tell Him what to do. He's going to tell us maybe what we can do. The Christian plan is to try to understand God's will and adapt to it. Adapt to God's will. Act in such a way that we're in tune and in harmony with His will. So no, we're not in control of the world around us. We'd like to be. We have a part in us that wants to be in control, but a lot of times we're not. And we will really gain in insight and wisdom in our life. Things are going to work out better if we just recognize that I can relax. God's in control. When I sign off at night and go to bed, God's in control. If He wants it to be a blizzardy snow weather outside, that's fine. If He wants it to be 70 degrees, that's fine. If the power's going to go out, I can trust Him. I can trust Him. I can leave the world in God's hands. The Christian learns how to leave the world in God's hands and trust Him. And so when we try to control it, that's futility. Ecclesiastes is warning us that's the way to crazy. So you probably got enough crazy. We can back off and trust God, and just let's adapt to what's happening in our world in a Christian manner, and God will be our helper. Okay, we're going to put in a note. I typed out this note, but I forgot to record it the first time, but I put in this note at verse 7 and 8. No, we can't restrain the wind. We are captured by circumstances. What I want to do is figure out how I can serve Jesus while I'm under these circumstances. And in some cases, again, you will possibly even stand for your faith and die for your faith. In other circumstances, that God's purpose will be, if you're persecuted in one city, flee to another. And do His work there. So we need to be tuned into God and know what He'd have us do. You know that tomorrow morning we're coming back and doing verses 9 and 10. So come and see me.